Hold on. Hold on. Testing, 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 testing. All right. All right. Our Shalom Israel. We here. Wednesday night law class. We're going to be going into who is Gideon? Who is Gideon in the Bible? A lot of you know about King David. A lot of you know about, of course, Jesus Christ. A lot of you know about Joshua, Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah. You know what I mean? More common accounts in the scriptures, and that's a great thing. But today, we're going to go into one of the ones that's not as common. We're going to go into the history of the book of Judges, uncover the law in that aspect. There is a brother by the name of Gideon, who you may or may not be familiar with. That's who we're going to be discussing. We're going to see what we could pick up from the life of Gideon, from that brother, the men around him, the women around him. We're going to be talking about that. You understand? So, first and foremost, if you are tuning in live, man, make sure you like the video, share the video. Make sure you go to YouTube and look up ISUPK West Coast and subscribe to our new YouTube channel. And spread the news that there's a new channel, all right? So let me see here. All right. All right, all right. So let's do the Zonovis Compact Bible Dictionary. Let's go to Gideon. I was reading about Gideon, and like with anything, there's a lot you can pick up. The Bible says, Paul said in Romans 15:4, the things written aforetime are written for our learning, that we through comfort of the scriptures might have hope. And the scriptures, the things written aforetime, are the things written in Paul's time. When he was saying the scriptures, he wasn't talking about Revelation, though we can apply that to today. But in his time, he was referring to what's known today as the Old Testament. And in the book of Old Testament, there's a book called Judges, right? So in the book of Judges, you notice this, how you say, pattern of Israelites being, the nation of Israel being led into captivity. They cry to the Lord deliver them. They go back to being evil. They go back into captivity because they was being evil. They cry to the Lord delivers them from captivity. They go back to being evil. It's like a cat in prison. A cat in prison get his life together real quick. He's searching for God in prison, and he wasn't searching for God when he was committing the crimes that landed him in prison. Rather, he's in prison. While he's in prison, God, please get me out of this jam. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. to get, make my life better. I'm gonna change my life. When I get out, I ain't going back to the streets. And as soon as that Negro get out of jail, they go right back into the thing that landed them in jail and prison in the first place. And that is Israel in a nutshell. When you read the book of Judges, Israelites were going into prison, going into prison for their crimes. Then when they in prison, crying to the Lord and making all kind of promises. And then once they get out, they go back to being evil. You understand? And it's like every chapter. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. Right? So let's go to, I want to get the definition of judges, right? Because before Israel had judges, we had kings. Before we had kings, we had judges. Right? I'm going to show you that. For example, Samson was a judge. You see? Hell, Samuel was a judge. You see? Let's go to the definition of judge in the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary. Right? The book of Judges. The book of Judges, rather, right? Judges, the book of. The seventh book of the Old Testament takes its name from the title of the men who ruled Israel during the period from Joshua to Samuel. You see? They are called judges or shapatiyim in the Hebrew. Their principal function being that of military deliverers to the oppressed Hebrews. The book makes no clear claim to authorship or date of composition. Much of it appears to be very old. The Jebusites are referred to as still dwelling in Jerusalem. And David's capture of Jerusalem about 1000 BC, and it goes into the time frame. This is not too far from Samuel, from Saul, because Samuel was looked at as a judge as well. And I'm gonna show you that. Let me show you that really quick. Let me see. Right? But Samuel was also a prophet. So when you go to 1 Samuel chapter 12, because remember, before Israel had Saul, Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, don't imagine white people when I say Israel. Imagine yourself. Imagine you. I know Hollywood didn't ruin our people's brains and imagination to where you hear Israel, you think about white people walking around in dirty, just the lowest of, a state they can be, and dirt in their beard and, hair natted up. No, Israel always been a clean people. What I say, go to 1 Samuel, right? The book after Judges, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, after Ruth. 1 Samuel 12. Hold on, bear with me. Right. So when you read 1 Samuel chapter 12, for time's sake, I'm not going to read it all. Verses 6 through 7, you learn that Samuel was sent to Israel, to Israelites, to let them know that they were going to be getting a king. But the reason why Israel got a king in the first place is because they wanted to be like the other nations. And the other nations had a king over them. And that's when they asked Samuel to ask the Most High, can we have a king over us? And Samuel went to the Lord And the Lord told Samuel, am not I king over them? And the Most High, that Israelites wanting a physical king offended the Most High. It offended him. He's like, damn, I'm your king, right? And I'll show you that as well in Hosea, right? I believe it's Hosea. Let me see. Thirteen and 9. Watch this. Hosea 13 and 9. O Israel, thou hast been destroyed thyself, but in me is thine help. I will be thy king. Where is any other that may save thee in all thy cities? And thy judges, you hear that? Of whom thou saidst, give me a king and princes. Now, who was the one they asked to ask on behalf of them to give them a king? That was Samuel, right? And thy judges of whom thou saidst, give me a king and princes. Verse 11, I gave thee a king in mine anger and took him away in my wrath. He said that he gave Israel a king in his anger. Because when Israelites asked for a king, the Most High was like, I'm your king. But nonetheless, since you want to be like these other nations, you're going to have a physical king over you. And not only that, you're going to deal with, his tyranny. You're going to deal with him being a mortal man. You understand? And Saul was the first king of Israel, first anointed king of Israel. And we all know how that turned out. We all know he was a complete nut. He went insane. He tried to kill a brother that did nothing to him at all. And he died in the battlefield. And, everybody is familiar with that account. Right? Go ahead. Yeah, Saul was from the tribe of Benjamin. He was a Benjamite. That's your West Indians today. All right. So before so when you read about the kings and everything, we had a physical king over us, but we had judges who were more than likely, and oftentimes they were warriors. They were like, they led men in battle. There were a lot of times where we were going, this is a time period like how it's like Jacob versus Esau now. Back then it was Jacob versus the Philistines, Jacob versus Ham. You understand? Before, the Greeks and things of that nature. When Esau really wasn't playing a huge role in, being the main oppressor of Israelites, it was really them Hamites, the Philistines, the Jebusites, the Hivites, the Hittites, you name it, Canaanites, Jezreelites, Zidonians. Jezebel was a Hamite, and she oppressed Israelites. She murdered the prophets of God because the king at the time, Ahab, was being weak as all hell. See? So let's look at it, man. Let's go to Judges. Let's go to Judges. Now we know before we had kings, we had judges. Right? Before the book of Samuel, we had judges. And there was a specific judge, and his name was Gideon. Right? You had Deborah and Barak. You had Shamgar. You had Ehud. Remember Ehud? We was under the Moabites, and Ehud stabbed the fat Moabite. He stabbed Buddha right in the stomach. And he said he pulled out his knife and dirt came out. Damn. And he was a Benjamite as well. He was known for being left-handed. You had Samson, of course. More commonly known or whatnot. So let's look at Shalom, everybody. Let's look at Judges chapter 6, verse 1. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hand of Midian 7 years. So we was dealing with the Midianites. Who were the Midianites? The Midianites were non-Israelites. They were heathens. There's another famous Midianite, Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, as the Bible records. The daughter of I want to say Zipporah. Remember when Moses fled Egypt, and he was out. When he fled because he feared that that was going to bring up the fact that he had slew an Egyptian. Remember the brother said, "Well, you gonna slay me like you slew that Egyptian the other day?" And Moses got out of town, and then as he's out of town, he notices a well of water, and he notices some sisters, not Israelite sisters, but sisters, same father sisters, Jethro's daughters, and he notices men harassing them, and the men that harassed them, Moses scared those men off, and the daughters were entreated of that. They reported it to their father. He married off his daughter to them. You see, so let's look at Midian and the Zondervan, right? And also, I'm showing you a good way to study. You don't ever want to just read something and just, leave it alone. You want to understand what you're reading, right? Median, or Midianites, page 532. Definition 2. His descendants in the land which they claim, lying mostly east of the Jordan and the Dead Sea, then southward through Arabah in the time of Moses, including the southern eastern parts of the peninsula of Sinai. In Genesis, a caravan of traders is called Ishmaelites, then Midianites, the former referring to their descent from Ishmael. Damn. And they're later to their abode in the land of Midian. You see that? That's who your Midianites are. Your Ishmaelites. You see? So when you imagine Midianites, imagine Ishmaelites. Who's Ishmael today? Ishmael are your Arabs. Right? Your Afghani, Iranian, who else? Pakistan, right? That consists of Ishmael. Elam is the East Indians with the red women that wear the red dot on their head, and the what's his name? What's his name? East Indians, man. It's a famous East Indian. Damn, what's his name? You got Kamala Harris. She's a Elamite. The Midianites are Ishmaelites. You see, there's a difference between Ishmael and Elamites. But continuing on, right? They're non-Israelites. That's the point. But I'm trying to paint the picture for you so you can imagine what you're seeing and what you're hearing, and bring it to life. So Judges 6:2. And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel. And because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them dens, which are in the mountains and caves and strongholds. And so it was, when Israel had sown, that the Midianites came up, and the Amalekites and the children of the east, even they came up against them. Who are the Amalekites? That's one of the sons of Esau. Today they are the so-called Jews. The Jewish people make up Amalekites. They're not, some Hamites. Some people teach that. Amalek is the Jewish people today. And they came up against them. Verse 4, and they encamped against them and destroyed the increase of the earth till thou came unto Gaza, and left no sustenance for Israel, neither sheep nor ox nor ass. So what I'm showing you is that Israelites were oppressed by the Midianites during the time of the brother we're going to read about, Gideon. But verse 5, for they came up with their cattle and their tents, and they came as grasshoppers for multitude, for both they and their camels were without number, and they entered into the land to destroy it. And Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midianites, and the children of Israel cried unto the Lord. Remember that analogy that I gave, how Israel was acting like a brother in and out of prison. Verse 7, and it came to pass when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord because of the Midianites, that the Lord sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them, thus saith the Lord power of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt, and I brought you forth out of the house of bondage, and I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all that oppressed you, and drave them out from before you, and gave you their land. And I said unto you, I am the Lord your God. Fear not the gods of the Amalekites, in whose land ye dwell, but ye have not obeyed my voice. And the reason why these other nations were oppressing Israelites is because we were disobeying the voice of the Most High, the voice of the Almighty, as you Israelites do to this very day, disobey, rebel against everything God Almighty has to say. And that's why we're in the condition that we're in now. And you read accounts like this, if we change our lives and cry to the Lord, he'll deliver us from this hell. But see, Israelites don't call on the Lord no more. The majority of Israelites too busy getting high, chasing hoes, chasing your rap career. You forgot about God. You forgot about the Most High. You're too worried about partying and being a damn heathen. You ain't no different from a heathen if you doing heathen things. How you above all nations when you do what other nations do? You're not Deuteronomy 7:6. You understand? Come on. So now we're going to get introduced to the brother by the name of Gideon when we read Judges 6 and 11. And there came an angel of the Lord and sat under an oak, which was in Ophrah, that pertained unto Joash the Abiezrite, and his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites. See? So here we see the angel of the Lord declare that he's with Gideon. You understand? Gideon was known for being a valiant warrior, right? And his response to, he's known for being a man of faith, and he definitely acknowledged the oppression that Israelites suffered. You understand? One second. So when we read verse 12, and the angel of the Lord appeared unto him and said unto him, the Lord is with thee, thou mighty man of valor. You mighty man of valor. Now, what does valor mean? Gideon was referred to as a man of valor. Let's look this up. The angel knew. Let me see. Because in the history of the judges, the Lord will always send an angel to select a brother. And the Lord always knew who the right person to pick. And he picked this brother because he was a mighty man of valor and of faith. He was a righteous man. So we read valor. Merriam-Webster don't have a definition. Valor in dictionary.com, courage or bravery, hence in battle, specifically in battle. That's what valor means. Valor, right? He was a man of valor, right? Let's keep going. Verse 13. And Gideon said unto him, O my Lord, if the Lord be with us, why then is all this befallen us? And where be all his miracles which our fathers told us of, saying, did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord hath forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites. So Gideon, his thing is he asked the angel, Why are we in the position that we're in? Why are we at the bottom? Right? Verse 14. And the Lord looked upon him and said, Go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have not I sent thee? And he said unto him, O my Lord, wherewith shall I save Israel? That's the same response Moses had. That's the same response the majority of brothers had. Who am I to save Israel? Basically. Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. But see, here's the thing. I'm going to show you two things in the Bible tonight. I'm going to show you the Most High deals with the forgotten. He deals with the low man. The Lord deals with the poor man. The Lord deals with the man that is, you would think that he wouldn't deal with. The Most High deals with the little guy. That's the Most High has a pattern of dealing with the little guy, so to speak, right? Not little guy in stature or little guy in height, but the little guy, and he doesn't seem like the one that'll be, that'll slay Goliath. He doesn't seem like the one that'll deliver Israel from the Egyptians. He doesn't seem like the Messiah. He doesn't seem like, the man who, have the largest, grandest Passover in Josiah. He doesn't seem like the fit man to proceed what Moses did in Joshua. You know what I mean? He doesn't seem like that. But the Lord always deals with that man. He always deals with that man. And you notice a lot of brothers in the UPK in the school, a lot of brothers come from gang banging. There's brothers from 8 trays in here. There's brothers from 60s that used to gang bang. Brothers that, sold drugs. Brothers that led a life of crime and sin. And the Lord uses them to teach against those very things, to live the complete opposite, and to show other brothers the same way, like they were showed. And that's what the Lord deal with, right? So we're in the land of Midian. We're slaves in Midian, right? The Lord sends Gideon. He's letting Gideon know, I'm going to use you to deliver the children of Israel. Boom. Judges 6:16. And the Lord said unto him, Surely I will be with thee, and thou shalt smite the Midianites as one man. Verse 17. And he said unto him, hold on one second. All right. Verse 17. And he said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, then show me a sign that thou talkest with me. Right? Verse 18. Depart not hence, I pray thee, until I come unto thee, and bring forth my present, and set it before thee. And he said, I will tarry until thou come again. And Gideon went in and made ready a kid, that is a baby goat, and an unleavened cakes of an ephah of flour, according to the Levitical law, of course. The flesh he put in a basket, and he put the broth in a pot, and brought it out unto him under the oak, and presented it. And the angel of God said unto him, Take the flesh and the unleavened cakes and lay them upon this rock, and pour out the broth. And he did so. Because what you got to remember is the angels didn't always come down looking like, the seraphim with 6 wings, and each wing, 2 wings covering his face, 2 wings covering his body, 2 wings covering his lower body. Like, not every angels within and without, and 4 faces. Angels come down looking like a regular man. Like a regular man. And Gideon started to doubt a little bit. All right, man, if you an angel, man, this is the word of the Lord, man. I need a sign. Because I ain't trying to just go out and, the stranger told me the Lord is with me, and then I go fighting and the Lord is not with me. So he asked for a sign, and he went and prepared what the angel told him to prepare. Right? which was the burnt offering. Verse 21, or a meal. Verse 21, then the angel of the Lord put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand and touched the flesh, which is the baby goat, and the unleavened cakes, and there arose up fire out of the rock and consumed the flesh and the unleavened cakes. And the angel of the Lord departed out of his sight. And when Gideon perceived that he was an angel of the Lord, Gideon said, alas, O Lord God, for because I have seen an angel of the Lord face to face. And that shows you that he didn't perceive him to be an angel at first. Gideon was like, he was having a conversation with a brother, for all he knew. And then the brother started breaking it down to him. Gideon, you were the mighty man of valor. The Lord is going to use you. And whooped you, and broke it down to him. He said, hold on. If you were if this is the Lord, I need a sign. And then the angel, who he did not perceive to be an angel yet, told him what to do. He did it. And then he put the meal on the rock, and then the angel's staff touched the food, and fire came. Now imagine like a barbecue pit. But the fire came out of nobody lit the fire. That was the Lord. I tell you in Hebrews, the Lord is a consuming fire, right? And then they consumed the meal, whatnot. And then the angel, just like what Samson's parents witnessed, the angel with the fire went up. It went like he went in the fire and went up. And then he said, oh, yeah, that was an angel. I know of a surety that was God's message for me. You understand? That is heavy. Verse 22. And when Gideon perceived that he was an angel of the Lord, Gideon said, alas, O Lord God, for because I have seen an angel of the Lord face to face. And the Lord said unto him, peace be unto thee. Fear not. Thou shalt not die. Why did the Lord tell Gideon that? Why did the Lord tell him don't die? God says things with purpose. Because what was the reason Gideon needed reassurance that the message that he was receiving was from God and not some random man? Because Gideon didn't want to die. God knows thoughts. God knew that the reason why he was down a little bit was the fear of death. You understand? Or the idea of, this could backfire on me. Well, I don't want to, And the Lord slayed that demon in his mind. And the first thing he said was, fear not. Right? Verse 24, then Gideon built an altar there unto the Lord and called it, in the English, Jehovah Shalom, but in the Hebrew, Yahweh Shalom. Unto this day, it is yet an Ophrah of the Abiezrites. And it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, take thy father's young bullock, even the second bullock of 7 years old, and throw down the altar of Baal that thy father hath, and cut down the grove that is by it, and build an altar unto the Lord thy God upon the top of this rock in the ordered place, and take the second bullock and offer a burnt sacrifice with the wood of the grove which thou shalt cut down. Then Gideon took 10 men of his servants and did as the Lord has said unto him. You see that? So Gideon was commanded to break down the altar of Baal, which damn Baal ain't nothing. And Israel, because Israel was worshiping Baal, like the heathens. Just like the heathens, worshiping Baal. And Baal is no power. You understand? So let's continue on, right? He fulfilled the order. Now let's jump down to verse 32. where basically what happens is the heathens, Amalek and the Midianites, dominantly Median, they learned that Gideon is smashing the places of worship, for you to understand, of Baal. We pick it up at verse 33. Then all the Midianites and the Amalekites and the children of the east were gathered together, and they went over and pitched in the valley of Jezreel. But the Spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, and Abiezar was gathered after him. And he sent messengers throughout all Manasseh, who also was gathered after him. And he sent messengers in Asher and unto Zebulun and unto Naphtali, and they came up to meet him. And Gideon said unto God, if thou wilt save Israel by my hand, as thou hast said, behold, I will put a fleece of wool in the floor, and if the dew be on the fleece only, and it be dry upon all the earth beside, then shall I know that thou wilt save Israel by my hand, as thou hast said. And it was so, for he rose up early on the morrow, and thrust the fleece together, and wringed the dew out of the fleece, a bowl full of water. So Gideon needed some more reassurance right before this battle, and he asked for a specific sign. He said, if I put this, imagine like a carpet. Like at my slave, we got fleeces of wool. You know, people use them as carpet. People use them as, rugs, right? Imagine like a rug. And he's saying, I'm going to lay this out overnight. If you be with me, if you really with me in this battle, I'm going to lay this out. I pray that as a sign, only this fleece of wool is wet with the dew, right? Only this fleece and nothing else. Everything else dry. And so, sure enough, that's what happened. Verse 38. And it was so, for he rose up early on the morrow, and thrust the fleece together, and wringed the dew out of the fleece, a bowl full of water. And Gideon said unto God, let not thine anger be hot against me, and I will speak but this once. Let me prove, I pray thee, but this once with the fleece. Let it now be dry upon the fleece, and upon all the ground let there be dew. And God did so that night. So Gideon wanted it reversed. The fleece dry and everything else wet. And that happened. You understand? Before I move on to my next point, right? I'm going to show you something. Hold on. Making sure. All right. Making sure everything is solid. So now, where we at with it now? Gideon is about to go into battle. Gideon is about to go into battle with the Midianites, Amalekites, men of their nation who are offended that he is casting down their places of worship, their groves, their altars for the God they worship, Baal. Right? And a lot of you Israelites worship Baal, and don't even know it. Every time you celebrate Christmas, you worshiping Baal. Every time you celebrate Halloween, I mean, damn, I ain't got to tell you that one. You know that. Everybody knows Halloween is just satanic as all hell. You understand? I bring it out all the time. So let's look at Judges chapter 7, right? This is very important. This goes into the lesson. as far as, the spirit of fear. We've got a better understanding of who Gideon is. Gideon is a warrior. He leads a band of men. He has men under him, right? He's instructed that the Lord is going to use him to deliver them out of the land of Midian and from being oppressed by them. And notice something very interesting is about to happen. In Judges chapter 7, verse 1, it says, Then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, now Jerubbaal was not his name. It's what the Amalekites and the Midianites called him because I believe Jerubbaal, I forget exactly what it means. Hold on 1 second. Jerubbaal. Right. Because Gideon's father worshiped Baal, and he called him, when he found out he smashed his altar, he called him Jerubbaal, which means let Baal contend. Meaning because he wanted Baal to show that you better not destroy my altar. That's basically like, remember how they called Blade in the movie Blade, they called what they called him? They called him his name was Blade, but they called him Daywalker, right? They called him Daywalker. You know what I mean? Because he was a vampire, but he really wasn't with that vampire stuff. He killed vampires, so they called him Daywalker. It was like that's sort of the same thing. Gideon was Blade, but because he destroyed Baal's temples, they called him Jerubbaal. You understand? So just making it to where you can understand. What's another example? Uh, boom. Like Batman. Batman, they call him he's Batman, but they call him a vigilante. They call him a masked crusader, right? But that's just so you understand. That's not what his father named him when he was born. He wasn't born and said Drew. The meaning of Jerubbaal is the significant matter. But continuing on, in Judges 7:1, then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the well of Harod, so that the hosts of the Midianites were on the north side of them by the hill of Moreh in the valley. Verse 2, and the Lord said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, mine own hand hath saved me. So Gideon is in position to go to battle with the Midianites. The Midianites on the other side of the field up north. And the Lord tells Gideon, you have too many men. Why would he say that? Why would he say that? You have too many men? You would think that, we need to damn near outnumber our oppressors. Right? Lord said, you got too many men. It's too many of you. And you know why the Lord said it's too many of you? The Lord said it's too many. Lest Israel, because if you outnumber the Midianites, right, and you win in battle, Israel not going to give the glory to the Lord. Israel going to give the glory to their damn self. We did that. We did that. We didn't need God for that. So the Lord said, we need to cut these numbers down. We need to cut these numbers down. Because I'm going to get my glory. I'm going to get my praise and worship. I go before you in these battles. I'm the reason you win or lose. Verse 3, now therefore go to proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, this is how the Lord sifted. Whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there returned of the people 20 and 2,000, and there remained 10,000. So there returned of the people 20 and 2,000, and there remained 10,000. So that means how many people was there? About 32,000. About 30,000 people was there. And Gideon, through the inspiration of God, said, if anyone is fearful and don't want to go into battle, leave. And 20,000 men left. And 10,000 men remained. Verse 4, and the Lord said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. Bring them down into the water, and I will try them there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee. And of whomsoever I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, the same shall not go. Oh, slack it, this shall not go, the same shall not go. So he brought down the people. So the Lord wanted to cut down the numbers even more. So he brought down the people unto the water, and the Lord said unto Gideon, everyone that lappeth of the water with his tongue as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink, likewise everyone that boweth down his knees to drink. And the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water. So imagine there's a pool of water. There's a lake, a little pond, if you will. And the men that, I'll let it continue itself. Verse 7, and the Lord said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lapped will I save you. And that getting, in that position where, you get on one knee, but you real circumspect of what's going on, right? Because they're in the middle of a war, and you had men that ran to the water, the first side of water, and got on their knees and water. And they got on their knees and they're not paying attention. Their guard was down, right? But the 300 men, they were aware as they were drinking water. They probably holding on, they sheath, they sword, drinking water, looking around, being vigilant, right? And those are the men the Lord was going to use because they weren't afraid. They were in the spirit of war. Verse 8, so the people took victuals in their hands and their trumpets. And he sent all the rest of Israel, every man into his tent, and retained those 300 men. You see? This is the difference between the 300 and the Battle of Thermopylae. Ooh, I remembered it. Most High in Christ. Thermopylae. That movie 300. That was an actual event. That really happened. It was led by King Leonidas. And Leonidas, and he was famous. That battle of the 300 men and versus thousands of Persians, that was known as the Battle of Thermopylae. I did a video on that before, if I'm not mistaken, and I broke it down on the 300, how that was real. This 300, the Lord was with this 300. The 300 at the Battle of Thermopylae and the Greeks and the Persians, the Lord wasn't with the Greeks. They lost. They did, they put some to flight and they fought, but they lost that battle. You understand? And show you that in the movie. Show you the movies be good, man. You watch 300. Watch that movie 300. Xerxes was known for being arrogant like how he was in that movie. He was known for being very pompous, very arrogant, very haughty. You understand what I'm saying? Very, he titled himself Xerxes. He was a son of, of the line of Darius, and he called himself Xerxes the Great. That's what he called himself, the Great. You understand? They also he referred to himself as a king of kings, just like Nebuchadnezzar. That was a term kings used, because they used to dominate other land masses and regions that had kings, and they would say that these kings pay tribute to me. I'm the king of kings. But see, that's what Christ is coming back to do. There's a lot of meaning in these terms in the Bible. Christ is going to make these other nations, these kings of the earth, pay tribute to him. That's why it says, and the Ancient of Days did sit. This Daniel said, I beheld to the Ancient of Days. I beheld, hold on, I'm gonna get it right. I beheld, lo, I beheld, and the Ancient of Days did sit, and the thrones were cast down before him. The thrones being cast down before him, that's talking about the other nations going to be in total submission to the will and authority of God. That's what's going to happen. You understand? And Christ is going to be the King of Kings. You understand? Continuing on, right? Judges 7:7. And the Lord said unto Gideon, by these 300 men that lapped will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand, and let all the other people go, every man into his place. So the people took victuals in their hand and their trumpets, and he sent all the rest of Israel, every man into his tent, and retained those 300 men. And the host of Midian was beneath him in the valley. And it came to pass the same night, the Lord said unto him, arise, get thee down into the host, for I have delivered it unto thine hand. But if thou fear to go down, go thou with Peruah, thy servant, down to the host. And thou shalt hear what they say afterward. Thy hand shall be strengthened to go down unto the host. Then he went down, and Gideon went down, and of course we got the victory over the Midianites. But the point is, the Lord sifted 20,000 men from his army off one simple question. If you're afraid to go to war, go home. If you're afraid, go home. If you're fearful, go home. And that shows you that the Lord did not give us a spirit of fear. The Most High is not a God who fights for the fearful. You got to be courageous, right? Okay. I'm not talking about, slight nervousness. I'm not talking about, being anxious. I'm talking about fear that leads to doubt. Because there's a healthy fear, like fear of God. That's a healthy fear. But then there's a fear that kills you slowly. The fear of, fear that leads to doubts, fear that leads to lack of faith, lack of belief, lack of trust. It's known as, what's the word used in Esdras? It's known as, what's the word? Incredulity. That's when the Lord told Esdras, let not the incredulity of the people trouble you, right? You're not supposed to fear or be afraid. I always go back to it. What if Moses fearfully raised that staff in the presence of Pharaoh? Huh? What if he fearfully raised that staff when the Israelites, all they had in front of them was a large body of water, the Red Sea, and behind them, Egyptians chasing them, and they hear them from miles away. They hear the chariots and the horses. War cries from the Egyptians, and the Israelites was scared. But if Moses was scared, damn. Moses had to be courageous and trust in what the Most High told him. I'm going to deliver you. Because a lot of Israelites felt like, and a lot of Israelites died with this mindset. A lot of Israelites took us out of Egypt to kill us, Moses. Moses was dealing with you knucklehead Israelites. Moses was dealing with you knuckleheads, man. You understand? We deal with you today too. We deal with you today too. You took us out of Egypt to live and to die, to kill us off. All this was for no reason, and everybody murmuring, and Moses had to focus and raise that staff with his right hand and split the Red Sea through the power of God. That was the Most High using Moses. Right? Don't get it mistaken. Right? The Most High is behind it all. And I emphasize that because why? Remember when Israel was in the wilderness and was complaining of being thirsty, and the Most High told Moses to speak unto a specific rock, speak unto it, and water is going to come out of it. But Moses, in frustration, hit the rock with his staff, so it appeared as if Moses made water come out of the rock when he was supposed to just speak to the rock. So that way the children of Israel knew it was God. That's why I say it was the Most High. That's why you get a credit to the Most High every time. Because of that very action, Moses didn't make it to the promised land. Because of that. Moses was one of the greatest men that ever walked this planet. And he didn't even get to make it to the promised land. Because of that mistake. Which was a grand mistake. A large mistake. Because that was an opportunity for the Lord to be glorified. It was an opportunity for the Lord to be embraced by the children of Israel, which is all he wants. That's all he wants, is to be embraced by his chosen people. It was an opportunity. The Most High is an opportunist. What do I mean by that? He sees the opportunity to where he can build our faith. Show his opportunity. I can show them what they mean to me. You understand? Like, he's a man of war, right? Warfare, if you want to be successful in war, you're going to need what in war? Strategy. You're going to need strategy. Strategic in war, in battle. You're going to need that. You understand? You're going to need, okay, we're going to send 10 men this way. We're going to send 2 spies before. We're going to do a recon. That's warfare. You understand? A lot of them old biblical movies, they show that. If you can get past everybody being white, I can do it. It doesn't bother me. But, it does to a point, but it doesn't stop me from watching it. But a lot of times there was a series called The Bible, man. I thought embodied it damn near perfectly. It was a series that Netflix did, I believe. It was called The Bible. And it was like 10 episodes of 10 major, accounts in the Bible, man. And they really painted the picture. I might watch it later on. Damn it. But you get the point. The Lord don't deal with the spirit of fear. So we got to remove that. The only fear you should be having is the fear of the Most High. Is the fear of doing the wrong thing. The fear of not living how you're supposed to be living. You understand? You should be afraid if you sinning. You should be afraid. But you want the Lord to be on our side. You want God to be on your side. So do the things that make God on your side. That's what you got to do. You got to convince God to be with you with your actions, not with your words. With your actions, persuade the Almighty to protect you, protect your children, protect your loved ones, and to just be with you. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. You understand? So we look at one more. Let me see. So let's go to what's that? Timothy's. Timothy 1 and 2 Timothy 1 and 7. Watch this. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. A sound mind is not a mind that, man, is Lord with me or not? You know, am I really even an Israelite? And is God with me? And, you know, you just have to be of a surety that the Lord is with you. Why? Based on your actions, based on what you do for the Most High. You have to know within yourself the Lord is with you. And the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. The Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust in him. As Nahum 1 and 7 and Psalms 34 and 7. You see? The Lord will deliver you from death. The Lord will deliver you from the bad news you got from the doctor. The Lord will deliver you from gunshots, stab wounds. The Lord will deliver you from it all. And you got to give the Lord the glory that he's the one that did it. It wasn't of your own strength. It was of the Most High's power and him sending the angel to be on your side and nothing else. It wasn't the medicine the doctor had. It wasn't, the timing of the police showing up. It was the Lord delivering you from that situation. The Lord is the one that delivered the children of Israel during the time of the judges. It was the Most High that raised up David to slay Goliath. It was the Most High that raised up Moses. It was the Most High who sent Yahushua. You understand? It was the Most High. And Christ, on so many occasions, let you know, this is not my work. It's the Most High's work. It's not of my own power. It's of the Most High. It's not my mission. This is God's mission. You got to remember to give the Most High his credit, his due respect, his due glory. In Isaiah, the 12th chapter, it says, make mention that his name is exalted. That's what you got to do. You got to remember it. And it's not saying, it's not talking about, yelling his name at the top of your lungs. Is in this situation, in the heat of the battle, you let the enemy know that you're going to lose because God is with me and God is going to make you lose. That's why we tell the oppressor, every week we go out on them streets, God is going to destroy America. I'm not going to destroy America. I'm not going to bring plagues to America. I didn't bring coronavirus, and now they got monkeypox floating around, and Most High in Christ for that, because they say in the news, the dominant, the ones more likely to get monkeypox are the ones who are involved in same-sex sex. I ain't gotta worry about that. I ain't gotta worry about that. I like women, okay? I'm normal. That's how the Most High intended it to be in the very first place. Man and woman. Not man on man, woman on woman, man that changed into a woman, dealing with a woman that changed into a man, and all kind of foolishness. You understand? That's not what the Lord is dealing with. The Lord ain't dealing with that foolishness. You out there sleeping with the same sex, you might catch monkeypox and die. But before you die, you're gonna look like a damn Dalmatian with boils all over your body. God is going to humble you. God is going to humble the proud. God humbled Pharaoh. The earth will never forget what happened during the time of the Exodus. It'll always come up. You know why? Because it was that glorious and that real of an event. But guess what? There's going to be a second Exodus. There's going to be a second Exodus. And that event is going to be glorious. And the earth will never forget Christ coming back with 200 million angels, black men, with power unimaginable. That's what's going to happen. The earth is going to remember black men and Hispanic men and Native American Indian men, the little guy in earth, being beamed up in chariots that's going to sit above the flames of nuclear fire and protecting the ones who changed their lives and served God and their children, man, and their loved ones, man, and deliver them into a better place. You understand? So, let me see. You understand? One second. So we're gonna cut the class a little short today. Make sure that you subscribe to our new YouTube page, ISUPK West Coast. Next week we're gonna be going into part 2. I might do a video series on this specific account of Gideon. We're gonna go into it a little more. I want to say the water to everyone that tuned in. I want to say shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Baruch Thumb, and Yahweh Shema Tabashim Yahshai. With that, we're gonna say shalom.